Thank you so much for coming in. Welcome to the Our Town Podcast. And today we have Billy from Kru Restaurant. And I'm super excited because this is one of my very favorite restaurants, actually my very favorite restaurant in Sacramento. And I kind of put it up above almost every restaurant I go to, and I'm always comparing it to your restaurant.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So how did you get started in this business?
Oh, you know what? It's it's a funny story. It's not like I woke up one day and I was like, I want to be a chef. I want to be a restaurateur. You know, it's just happened because I was not very good at school. I didn't like school. Went to school, graduated high school, went to college, and I really didn't like school. I couldn't sit still in the classroom. Just started working, and one of the first jobs I had or got was in a Japanese restaurant, and working there as a busboy, dishwasher, and then moved up to do a little prep in the sushi bar, and actually just fell in love with the food and cuisine. And from there, I just wanted to learn as much as I could, bounced around working in different restaurants, and then after that, I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. I wanted to open my own restaurant, work for myself, but realized that only skills I had was at the sushi bar, dealing with raw fish. I had no cooking experience, nothing with like back at the house, meaning office stuff, doing the books or anything with on the floor. So that's when I decided to go to culinary school to get some more, knowledge and skills for actually cooking, not just sushi, and just jumped in from there.
What culinary school did you go to?
It was called the CCA, the California Culinary Academy.
In San Francisco?
In San Francisco, on Polk Street.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And how long was that, a 2-year?
It was a 2-year. What was it? It's a 2-year program, but I want to say it was like 16 months, and then you had to do like a 6-month externship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you go overseas for your externship?
No,
or?
I mean, it's probably really funny. I mean, I wasn't born in Sacramento. I was born in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Refugee camp in Hong Kong. So when I came here, I was about 8 months old. And we'll get to that later too, but 8 months old, and I never really left. Went to Sacramento. We moved around a lot growing up. Went to high school. Went to Sac City College for a couple of years, and the only time I spent out of the town was just San Francisco when I went to culinary school. Tons of friends. All of my friends moved away from Sacramento, went to college, did all these things, and I wouldn't say I missed out a lot, but because Sacramento changed so much in the last 20 years, the whole scene, the whole culinary scene, the whole everything changed so much. It's really cool that I was part of it and been here to see all the changes. Had tons of friends that were here, and they're growing up. They're like, "There's nothing here. Can't wait to get out of Sacramento. We just want to get out of Sacramento. It's just a cow town." And but now everyone's moving back.
Yeah.
Buying homes, starting families here, and it's cool to see that whole change and evolution of everybody coming back.
Yeah. So your food is so far above most other sushi restaurants.
It's different. I won't say it's above. It's different. it's different. It's different.
It really is. It's really elevated. I mean, every bite is fantastic.
Thank
you. You're not putting it in soy sauce. You're not trying to mix it with a bunch of wasabi and
Thank
stuff.
you.
Like everything is flavored to a T.
Thank you.
What got you to that level?
I guess that going back to your last question, where did I leave the country or leave town for my externship? I didn't. I stayed in town and worked at the kitchen with Randall.
Oh, okay.
And during that time, worked with Randall Sellen. He was still working the service with Noah Zonka, Chef Noah Zonka. And I think when I was bouncing around before culinary school, I really was just working in different sushi restaurants, trying to absorb as much as I can at these sushi restaurants. Learn a lot of good things. There are things not good I didn't pick up. I was just being a sponge, trying to pick up as much good things as possible.
Yeah.
But I did my externship at the kitchen, and I think it was really there, just where it's kind of opened my eyes. And I think what makes Kru different and my style of food different is not really bound by any rules. Japanese cuisine, I love it. It's Japanese and French. I would say technically those are the two of my favorites. Just technique-wise, Japan has, at one point they had more Michelin stars than France. And they go back and forth between 1 and 2. That's how good the cuisine is, and then how focused they are. There's restaurants in Japan that will just serve one thing. Like they'll just do eel, right? One little stall or one little shop, all they'll do is eel, or there's another shop they'll just serve tamago because they just want to do one thing and do it very, very good. That's what I fell in love with. And even in a lot of these sushi shops in Japan, there's rules. Like you'll hear, we watch Jiro Dreams of Sushi on Netflix, or the princesses come in, they'll have to make rice for 10 years.
Yeah.
And there's these rules, and I think, it's different where we're in the United States, we're in California.
Yeah.
There's California rules, there's sauces.
Yeah.
But I think I just wanted to make good food, so I think that's what makes us a Kru stand out, is we're not really bound by any rules, but there are rules. Like before you could paint, you gotta learn colors, right? That's kind of like art, but cooking's not really art. You're not really inventing anything
Cooking's
new.
edible art.
Edible art. Everything's done. We didn't invent anything. Everything's been done. It's just different interpretations. You just change a couple ingredients and you can make it your own. But style of food growing up here. So my parents were born in Vietnam, but they're Chinese. So I think there's a group of immigrants that came over in the 80s, stuff that are like that. They're Chinese Vietnamese because people from China immigrated to Vietnam during World War. And then my parents ended up landing in a refugee camp in Hong Kong because of the Vietnam War. Because they were escaping, during the Vietnam War, my mom was pregnant with me. She was able to escape on a boat, land in a refugee camp in Hong Kong, and that's where I was born. And we were there for 6 to 8 months before we finally were able to come to the United States. So coming over here, growing up, we ate a lot of Vietnamese food and Chinese food. It was a mixture of the two. And then, of course, I love junk food, Happy Meals, McDonald's. You got the pizza and burgers and stuff. So growing up was a lot of all that stuff mixed up together. And then working in Japanese restaurants and then going to culinary school. So the food that we do is just like a culmination of all that.
Yeah.
Just good flavors, good food. Like the sushi, we stayed true to, good rice, technically done right, but we have a lot of cool dishes from the kitchen.
Yeah.
Where it's not just bound to one style.
Yeah.
Or so I think that's what makes us different.
Yeah. Speaking of you liking hamburgers, the hamburger on your menu, that thing is the most ridiculously delicious thing, I swear.
Thank you. It's funny. I know. Because I still have, we've been open for 17 years now. I think 2005 when we opened. And we still have some customers that come in that's never been in. And one of the reasons why I love being a sushi chef so much too is it's fun. You're kind of a / bartender and a / cook chef, where you get to interact with guests and you get that immediate satisfaction of serving them, and if they enjoy it, you get to see that reaction. It was really cool, right? So that's one thing I like about it, where if you're just a cook or a chef in the kitchen, you're still creating really cool stuff, but you never get to see that reaction of the guest taking a bite.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like really rewarding, seeing people enjoy our food.
Yeah.
But sorry, I got sidetracked. But the burger, it's funny still seeing people that's never been in, and they'll look at our menu and they're like, they'll start laughing. They're a burger? Why is there a burger on the menu at a sushi restaurant? I mean, we didn't mean to put that burger on. Pre-pandemic, we were doing this late night happy hour on Friday and Saturdays, which we called No Reservations, based off my last name, but also for Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
During that time when right when he passed away, and also really is like a late night happy hour for industry people. So Friday, Saturday nights, we'll keep the place open until 1 o'clock, and we would do a different ramen every week, like a kitchen sink ramen with everything in it. We would do the burger, and we'll have a couple other bites, and then we'll have drinks, and it was just like all of our peers and industry friends, when their restaurants close, there's something for them to come in, grab a beer shot, get a bowl of ramen or a burger, and then go home.
Yeah.
So it was really cool, really fun, but we just couldn't sustain that. We did that for almost 2 years. It was successful. It was just such a long shift for our staff. Get beat up during a busy service and then open for another couple hours. So it was cool, but it was just too much, so we stopped doing that. And when we stopped doing that, we were getting emails from people like, where's the burger? Where can I get the burger? How comes not on the menu? Or can you make it for us? So we decided to put it on the menu. So that's why we have a burger on the menu at a sushi restaurant.
It's so funny. So my parents live in Arizona. Mm-hmm. They're literally flying up here next week. We're coming in on Friday. And my dad's like, hey, the only place I want to eat at while we're there is Kru. So we're coming to your place on Friday. And I said, cool. I said, this time we did omakase last time. So I said, this time we're going to just sit at a table. We'll order a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm also ordering a hamburger. He's like, I don't want a hamburger. I was like, I'll tell you what, you want this here.
Well, just get the burger, cut it in quarters, like a little appetizer. Every get a bite and then get some sushi after that.
Exactly. No, I love that thing. So did you ever travel around and visit other restaurants? Like, are you constantly doing R&D, if you will?
Yeah. One of the things I like to do now is just, a lot of the traveling is based off of restaurants that you want to try out too. So if we're going to go to this place, we'll look up all the restaurants we want to check out. Me and Mandy will check out where we want to eat at, and then we'll book our hotel around where it's close to that. So, it's always fun to go eat and get new inspiration. But even in the beginning, I'm dating myself. Back in the days, there was no iPhones where you could just take a picture, or there's no Instagram where you hear about a cool restaurant and you're like, let me go look them up on Instagram or Yelp and see these pictures. But now you hear about a restaurant, you're like, let me go on Instagram. You can see their menu, all their pictures, what they're doing. I remember literally before you hear about a restaurant doing something cool in like New York or something, you would have to book a flight, book a hotel, make reservations, go there and eat, and then pull out your little notebook and then circle, this is the plate, this is the sauce, and draw the lines and do that. It's funny, I still have some of those notes and books of before, 'cause you didn't have a phone to come out and like take a picture of the dish. You had to draw it out and put it back in your pocket, your little notebook, and then it's funny. So it's good. It's different now, but you still want to go and see, and you need inspiration.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you say that, because like I will, if I have to, because I travel for work, and if I'm going to a new town, the first thing I do is I book the hotel, and then I'm like, okay, where am I going to eat while I'm there? Exactly. And I look up, and just like what you're saying, I'm looking up 5 different restaurants, making reservations, getting it all set up. Yes. It's absolutely awesome to do that. So your new restaurant, or the new space, is absolutely beautiful. So how did you get into your first restaurant? So if you're just coming out of, you're either staging or you're learning at other places, how did you get your first restaurant?
Really interesting story too. Very fortunate, a lot of help, but also during that time, that was in 2004, I think, and we actually opened the restaurant in May of 2005. We opened that place up, I want to say it was like $250,000. Even though it was a turnkey restaurant that just closed. But even nowadays, you find that a restaurant that is turnkey, where it just closed for 6 months or whatever, you go in there, you can't open a restaurant for $250,000 now. It's different.
That's flooring.
So that location was Celestin's for, I want to say, 15 years, and then they moved over to K Street.
Who was it?
Celestin's.
Okay.
They moved over to K Street, where the porch is at now. Okay. So they were there for a little while, and then changed the porch. But Celestin's for 15 years, they moved, and there was a restaurant called J. Lee's Eurasian Bistro. Do you remember that at all?
No, I don't.
They weren't around very long, 2 years, but they would open till midnight, which is cool, because back then there wasn't a lot of options for late night eating and hanging out, and we would go there to eat when we would get off of work at the other restaurant. During that time, we were working at Taka's, Sushi in Fair Oaks, but we'll still drive back down to downtown and hang out afterward to grab a drink at Monkey Bar or Ink, or grab dinner before we head home. And there's that restaurant, J. Lee's. They're open until midnight, so we could get there at 11 and still get food and stuff before we go home. And it was called J. Lee's Eurasian Bistro. Where the sushi bar was a wine bar, and then all the food was done in the kitchen. And then towards like the last 8 months of it being open, they decided to add a sushi bar, and they hired a couple of our friends that we knew to run the sushi bar. So we would go there quite often to visit them and hang out. And I remember sitting there one day, I was like, man, this spot's really cool. It's not too big, not too small. It'd be awesome if I could find a space like this for my first restaurant. During that time I was still looking around. I still came back from culinary school. I think I was towards the end of I was done with my externship. I stayed working at the kitchen for another 6 months and continued working at Taka's Sushi in Fair Oaks. So I was doing all that, and I was like, this place would be awesome if I could find something like this size, somewhere in Midtown, downtown. And I want to say like a month or two later, when I had that thought, just sitting there, just drinking beer, sake, eating like at 11:30, 12 a.m. at night. The place just closed. I don't know what happened. They just shut the doors or closed. And at that time, I was working at Taka Sushi, and my business partner now, Peter Kwong, he was my boss at the time. And we were talking about doing something together. And I was like, we got to get that spot. Like, it's closed. I don't know who we need to talk to, real estate. I don't know who. Find out who owns that building. Let's get in there.
Yeah.
And it was such a coincidence. It turned out that he was family friends with the people that owned the building.
Oh,
it
wow.
Was, I don't know if they're family friends or there's some kind of connection, because the family that owns Tom's Printing owned that building. He's like, I know those people. He just called. So even before we went on the market, he just called them and we got it. But it was pretty much just turnkey. He was like, just take the building as it is. Whatever's wrong with it, it's on you.
Yeah.
So we went in there. We didn't have any contractors. Like, he was in there steam cleaning the walls and the bathroom. I'm a terrible handyman. I was in there, like, screwing things on with a drill, painting, having friends to come help clean and paint. Bought them pizza and beer to come help me get the place done, and that's how we did it. And then we just opened the restaurant just to get some revenue coming in. I think we just spent like 2 months to flip the whole thing around to just kind of change it with paint and some stuff. Got some new tables and chairs, and opened the place up. And any money we made just went back to that building, because it was just like such an old building, and we did that for a couple of years. So that's how we got it open.
Yeah, like that was your proving ground, though, right? So transitioning from that to the new space, that is a big undertaking.
It was huge. It was a big learning process, going from 1,800 square feet to 6,400 square feet.
Is it that big?
Yeah.
Wow.
The old location was only 1,800, and it went to 6,400 square feet. And just dealing with the staff just like quadrupled or even more than that. So that was a huge learning experience. Running a restaurant's very different, very hard. You have to be a little crazy to do it. And just dealing with staff, it's just managing staff and people feeling, you always hear about, there's, no matter how good of a team you have, it's all, there's always little things with front of house and back house. But then you throw in a sushi bar, so now that's like 2 back of the houses. So like, so now instead of just dealing with the normal stuff, the front of the house and the back house, and now you got sushi bar. And then moving to a new location, you have to add in a whole bar. So you have a whole bar staff now. So you got 4 departments that you always have to, everybody's, little issues of whatever. So that was really hard, dealing with just 4 teams of people.
Yeah.
Was a lot, but, we figured it out finally, and just having the right team just working together.
Yeah. Now, your wine list, super curated to Japanese food. Who does your wine there?
Right now it's Chloe. Okay. She does an amazing job, Chloe Henry.
She comes up, pretty much knows what I want every time. She's
awesome.
like, hey, you're ordering this, and I'm just like, yeah, bring it. I already trust you.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah, and how long has she been with you?
It's been almost 2 years now. Well, it'll be 2 years in February.
Okay.
Next year, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And how did you go from, you're pretty much just working in restaurants. How do you get the business acumen to jump in? Because that's one of the hardest parts of a restaurant. Like, anybody can make a plate of food.
It's
decent, right?
It's very hard. All aspects of it is hard. Making a plate of food decent, good. It's hard too. But a lot of the creatives and chefs I've seen too, like friends, they're so talented, and they go in and open a restaurant, and they never thought. And same with me going into it, like, I'm just gonna do this, but you totally forget that you have to do payroll, you have to do taxes, then you have to do all this other stuff, right? And that after working a long day shift, doing schedules, cooking, and then you have to do inventory to order, and then you have to go and you got to do payroll, and you got to do tips, break down tips for everybody. That just drains you, and you're gonna lose that creativity or the passion. Eventually, you're just drained. You're not like, you can't. This is like any entrepreneur. You can never clock out, but this is like you physically have to be working and doing these things, so no one else is gonna do it for you. So that thing just drains you. It just drains you. Like I've been to a point like that by not having help or having a good team. But I was very fortunate that my partner was the complete opposite of me. So he did all that, the back house stuff, handled that kind of stuff. I mainly was handling the food operations of the restaurant.
Yeah.
That side. So we each one had our roles and what we needed to do.
Yeah.
But it was still a lot. At the old spot, didn't have a real GM. Didn't have someone to help curate the wine list.
Yeah.
It was just everything's on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're a little more fortunate where we have an excellent team and everybody's just doing a great job.
So between the old place and the new place, at the old place, one of my favorite things was like the intimacy of the sushi bar was like a half of a foot, and
Yes.
then your guy was right there for you, right?
Yes.
The new place, it seems like there's a big long way
Space,
away.
Not by choice.
Okay.
It's not by choice, and I don't understand it. Like I want to say the old sushi counter, it was very close. It was right there,
Yeah.
and like literally feed you. But
Yeah.
but when we're building the new location and getting all the permitting, the city wanted us to have a certain distance from the guest. Otherwise, we'd have to put up a sneeze guard, and I was like, ruin the whole point. That's why I don't want sushi cases. I don't want anything
Yeah.
to be in the way of us interacting with guests. I want them to be able to see us cutting the fish and all that. But since it was a new build out, it had to be a certain distance from the guests. So
Yeah.
we ended up having to add almost 10 inches to what our original plans were.
Oh, wow.
So we had to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of the sushi chefs that are there now have been with you even from the old place,
Yes.
and as long as I can remember going there, which has been forever.
Very fortunate. We have some amazing staff that's been with us for 10 years or more.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool to have that.
Yeah.
To have that a team and for us working together so long, and we know each other. We know how things are, and very, very lucky to have such a loyal staff.
You know what they're gonna do next.
Yeah.
you know?
And then the same thing like with my chef de cuisine now. Brian started with us. Yeah, he's probably over close to 10 years.
Yeah.
But him like, he knows what I like. I know what he likes and the flavor of food, and everything that comes out that he creates out, it's amazing and perfect. I don't need to check him or anything.
Yeah. Now, are you still? Now, what I do like is you are still behind the sushi bar. Are you there 5 nights a week?
It's anywhere from 2 to 5.
2 to 5
Yeah,
nights a week.
yeah.
Okay. And how do you do that and then still manage everything else that you got going on?
A lot of meetings. No, a lot of meetings during the day. Crew, we're only open for dinner now, but there's still a lot of prep that happens during the day. But I usually get in there about 4 o'clock.
Okay.
The restaurant opens at 5. So a lot of the meetings and management for the other restaurants and stuff happens during the day.
Okay.
And it's a lot more fun. Like I was saying earlier about the team, I have an amazing team, handle everything now. So I could just come in and just work behind the sushi bar and
be part of it.
just be part of it and don't have to worry about all the details of, curating the wine and sake program.
Yeah.
Or, all that.
So are you leaving it up to your chef de cuisine to come up with dishes, and then you're kind of the final say? Do you guys work on things together?
For the kitchen, like all the hot dishes will be chef de cuisine. Sushi bar is I have my head chef in the sushi bar, Kay. He does all the fish ordering, and we all work on things together between us 3.
Okay. And where does your fish come from usually?
We go through multiple purveyors, so majority of the fish comes from Japan, but we go through 3 companies from Japan, and you get fish flown in to San Francisco and gets trucked over to us twice a week from Japan, and then we go through 2 other companies for local fish, like from the Bay Area, Monterey,
Okay.
or Southern California. So a total of 5 purveyors.
Okay.
Yeah, and the local one that's really good is Sunfish.
Sunfish.
Went over at Sunfish on Broadway, so we go through him for a lot of local product.
Okay. And that is right. You said it's on Broadway.
Broadway, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And you can go in there as a retail person
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, a lot of their business to restaurants, but then it's available for retail as well.
Yeah. Now, what have you done since? So this new place. I know you just opened up a place out in a casino.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't say it's not. Yeah, it's Fukuro by Kru, so it's a more casual concept. So very simple menu. It's in the casino. and it's more. It's called the market. And there's multiple food concepts, so you can order food from multiple places and then choose wherever you want to sit.
Okay.
It's a little casual, more rolls and simple sashimi and nigiri mix. It's still really good. It's just not as
You do any
expensive.
ramen there?
No ramen.
No ramen?
Yeah, no ramen. just some the rolls and some nigiri and sashimi. We don't have like 25 special fish, but we still have all your classics, salmon, tuna, and scallops.
And then you have, is Fish Face still?
Fish Face,
okay, so
yep,
we
on
got
our street.
Fish Face was the poke house,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And then the ramen spot?
Kodaiko, yeah.
Okay.
By the Golden One.
And how's that going?
Really good. Now that everything's open, now that the arena's open again, it was terrible during the pandemic and shut down because no events, no basketball, nothing in that area, and we're trying to do the to-go thing on K Street, but no one's parking a block away to walk and then get to-go food or delivery drivers and all that stuff. Like for Kru, we're fortunate that we had a parking lot, so we're still doing really good during the pandemic for to-go food. But Kodaiko, man, there's days we would do like $200. We're just slowly dying, but we knew it. We're like, we just got to be like a bear during the wintertime, just hibernate, just keep the heart beating slowly enough just that you could survive, so that when summer comes we could wake up, we can't die. Just running a skeleton crew, just one person working or two people working, just to make sure we just get past it, because it was really tough. But now it's doing great now that the block's open again. The Kings are doing great.
It's a really cool spot. I like how you go, like you're under Sacramento in order to go. Yeah. It's really neat. How was the pandemic on the business? I know it was pretty detrimental to a lot of restaurants. I mean, it hurt a lot of restaurants. How did you make it through and survive?
Well, Kodaiko, we barely did. Like I was saying there, it was really, really hard. Kru, we were fortunate because we had the parking lot and we had such big support. We're still doing good during the pandemic. Not good, but it was enough for us to survive. And we were able to keep all of our cooks and sushi chefs employed, our whole management. It was all the support staff, like the server assistants, the dishwashers, the bartenders, and a lot of the servers. We didn't have a position for them for that, but we kept all the salaried staff and management and all the cooks able to work to just do the to-go food. So we're very fortunate for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we ordered a lot of to-go food.
Thank you.
It was necessary during that time. You also have do you sell the dog food company?
Yeah, Healthy Hounds Kitchen.
Nice.
In Isak.
And how long has that been around?
Wow, it's 7 years now. Time flies. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what is the concept behind that?
The concept is human grade fresh dog food. No preservatives. We do 6 different recipes. Each day of the week, we only cook one recipe, and we'll package it, vacuum seal it, freeze it so you can buy it in different portion sizes, and it's vacuum sealed real thin so you can pull it out and it'll defrost super quick. Or you can order it fresh and buy it in bulk, and that's the cheapest way. Is regular, not regular. It's not like a restaurant regulars, but our customers that are repeat customers. What they would do is buy the bulk fresh, and that's the cheapest way. The day we make it, Wednesdays would be the pork and quinoa recipe. If you feed your dog pork and quinoa, you order 50 pounds. We'll just put in a giant bin bag for you. You go home and you portion it for your dog yourself, and that's the best way, and that's how a lot of people are buying it now. It's just fresh in bulk, and you pick it up that day when we make it fresh.
Really?
Yeah, it's doing really good. There's no preservatives, nothing added. It's just like real food. You could eat it yourself. Just add salt, pepper, or a little hot sauce, and you can eat it. Like when we were trying out all the recipes, we tried all the food.
Did you?
It's like my dog eats pork and quinoa. There's chicken and potatoes. There's a fish and white rice. Only thing we do add is all the daily nutrients that's needed for them to get, but no preservatives, no nothing. It will go bad.
So you adding in some special fats and oils?
Yeah, calciums and fish oils, and it's every recipe has been sent out to get the analysis that they're making sure they're getting all the nutrients they need. That's the only thing we add to it. We're using the same rice in our dog food as we're serving in the restaurants. It's from Next Generation Foods or Root and Basma Farms. It's the same rice that we serve for sushi at Kru. It's just
So you mentioned those two places that you get your rice from. Are those local?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's all. Do you source all your food from local purveyors besides the fish?
Produce as much as possible. Fish is harder because the only local fish I would say we have is sturgeon. And you don't see sturgeon at a lot of restaurants. But being in Sacramento, I would say if you were to pick a fish that would represent this region, it would have to be sturgeon. 'Cause,
Yeah.
all the deltas, the rivers, we are one of the largest producers of caviar. So, sturgeon is not a typical fish find sushi restaurants, but we found a way to use it and serve it because being in Sacramento, being in this region is so different. Having local food, we have some of the best produce and, rice and almonds and all these talented chefs around here with these cool restaurants find ways to use ingredients. So I was like, if we're a sushi restaurant, we should be serving sturgeon.
I will tell you, the sturgeon three-way
Yes.
is one of the best bites on the planet.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know what it is. That's like my dessert. Like I get one in the beginning and I get one in the end.
Thank you.
It's a must.
Thank you.
So this is kind of a crazy question. Just going to throw this out at you. What makes Kewpie Mayo so damn good?
No, it's a little sweeter. And I'm gonna say I think there's MSG in there.
Is it?
And I love MSG. It's but I think Kewpie there's MSG in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's magical. I was like, I think it's Japanese Miracle Whip.
It is.
Yeah. Does that go? Is that what goes on your burger?
And that one there is in our cod ravioli. There's a little Kewpie mixed in there.
Oh, is it?
So it's cod roe. It's like a spicy cod ravioli.
Okay.
So it's the Wagyu Chuck Angus blend, and then we do the fish egg aioli. So it's like a little surf and turf.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Are you planning on opening up anything else?
Actually, yes. One more project coming up, but after the pandemic, it was just such a crazy experience, and having the whole world, the whole industry change, trying to survive, and then coming out of it, once we were allowed to open, that was a big change too, trying to get everything back open and staffed up, and it was hard. And getting done with everything, I was like, I'm done. I'm pretty ambitious. I have a lot of concepts I want to do. I still have a list of things I want to do that I wish we have in Sacramento and things, but I was like, what am I doing? I was like 23, 24 when I opened Kru, but even before then, I just worked. I've just been banging, hustling my whole life. I remember, in my 20s, early 30s, when friends moved away. Before that, people moved away to go to college. They had that experience, doing things, going on vacation. I just worked all the time, and then, workaholic, a little crazy, doing all that stuff. So got out and I was like, well, what am I doing? Because I had a couple other projects I wanted to do, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do anything. Everything's reopened, things are doing good. Let's just chill. Let's finally just start enjoying life. Finally got engaged. We're getting married next month.
Congrats.
Finally, bought a home 2 years ago. I never even did that. All these things. I was just working all the time, and anytime any money I made would go back to the restaurants or investing back in another project. And the ROI on restaurants is insane. You don't know if it's gonna do well or not. So, we opened a couple of fish faces, and we closed them all. All that stuff. You might not see any of your money back. So I was like, why do that? Let's just start and enjoying everything and start doing things. But of course, there's another project. I'm not sure. Do you remember when we did Red Lotus, where Red Rabbit is right now? It was like where GB by Old Kru next to Momo's.
Yeah.
So we opened a restaurant called Red Lotus there. It only lasted 18 months, not very long. It was like a take on dim sum and Chinese food. It never really worked out. We were trying to do craft cocktails and craft beers, and then a modern take on dim sum at that time in 2009 during the recession, and I think it was just a little too new for the time. So we didn't work out, closed it in 18 months. I've always thought, I wanted to redo that concept. It deserved a second chance. It's too young, we didn't execute it properly, bad timing, all that. that was one project I always wanted to redo. So we're going to redo that one, but we're not calling it Red Lotus. Naming after my mom, her maiden name. Her name was Mai Chu, so we're calling the restaurant Chu Mai. So she passed away in 2020. So I just wanted to just honor her and name the restaurant after her, just keep her memory alive. And it'll be like a redo of Red Lotus and doing this to honor her name. And it will be kind of like Red Lotus with the menu, but we're going to have a lot more Vietnamese influence too. So Vietnamese, Chinese, kind of like the food I grew up eating. So my parents were Chinese from Vietnam that were born in Vietnam. And so growing up, we ate a lot of Vietnamese food, Chinese food, mixed with that. So that's what we're going to do. The concept's called Chu Mai, and we're doing it on 17th and S at Ari Place. So named after Ali Reza Yousefi, a good friend of mine that passed away a few years ago. So this was the last project that he designed and building out. So it's just a settlement project, doing it there and named after my mom. So I was like, let's do it. It just felt right,
Yeah. Awesome. I think that Sacramento is also starting to get more interested in things like soup dumplings and noodle houses and things like that. A lot more open, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you go out into Elk Grove, Journey to the Dumpling, there's a line of like 50 people at any one time. I can't wait for
their Midtown location to open.
Are they going to open? Nice.
It should be soon. They've been working on it for 2 years, but I hear it's soon. It's right there by the Sac B.
Oh, okay.
S and 21st.
Okay. Yeah, can't wait because I don't have to drive to Elk Grove. And just even a lot of little dumpling spots in South Sac or Vietnamese food in South Sac. Like we go to South Sac once a month off of Stockton Boulevard just to eat Vietnamese food. So I think that's a perfect concept.
Good time now. Yeah. And same thing tied in with having a cocktail bar as well. It's very similar to how Kru is with what Kru did with sushi and Japanese food. We want to do the same thing, but it'll be Vietnamese, Chinese, and Southeast Asian flavors.
Okay. I went to a place in Austin, and it was just this really high-end cocktail bar. And then they had a door to the side, and all they had was 10 seats for omakase. That was it.
I know. You're talking about, it was on my list to go.
And it was like upstairs.
Is it like Ototo or something? Ototo, yes. The bar, you have to make reservations to go sit at the bar to get drinks.
Yeah, you have to make a reservation to get a drink, and then it's good luck getting into that room next door to it.
That's on my list to go. I have a buddy that lives there, and he was like, you got to go check this place out next time you're in Austin.
Yeah, so...
Did you get in?
I got into the bar.
Okay.
I got into the bar, and you can get food in the bar from the omakase station, but it's very limited. Really worth it.
Yes,
so, go.
I heard it. It's beautiful there.
Is that that kind of concept that you're looking at?
No, not that small. It's the new concept. It's going to be 3,500 square feet, so a little bit bigger.
30. That's pretty big.
That's about the size of Kodaico.
Okay.
Yeah. So like that, not that intimate and not that fine dining.
Okay, cool. And then, so you're getting married, and that's coming up. When are you getting married?
September 2nd.
September 2nd.
Less than 30 days.
All right, so that's what you were doing earlier today?
Yes.
Planning things out?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I know you have a busy day. You got to get to work. It is Friday.
Yes.
So I will thank you now for coming in. I'm
thank you so much for having me.
super fortunate that you came in today, and I look forward to eating your food next Friday.
Awesome. I'll see you then. Thank you.